All right, we're recording. Go ahead.
Yeah, like we said, it's part 2 of the motherfucking psionics. You know what I'm saying? So we going in a lot deeper, a lot more abstract forms of psionics and ways and practical methods and how you use them, how to strengthen your abilities and developing your psionic abilities, and just overall understanding that this is a ability that we all have, but all of us aren't consciously aware of how to use it. So we're going to deliver you today more practical ways and more elaborate ways to strengthen your already potent psychic abilities, but to enhance them even more by using your creativity and your imagination and your belief in your abilities and what you're able to create within your mind, and to be able to bring about a physical psychic effect or mental effect in your reality. You see what I'm saying? Because there's no limit to the way that you can express this energy. There's so many different ways that you can apply them and put them in different forms of objects around you to enhance your abilities, or to just have them set up around you to almost as reminders of your abilities, and know that every day you're just strengthening them stronger, and you just get more potent and more belief in stretching your imagination and the things that you're able to create and the things that you're able to visualize, and making that shit come to form, making that shit come alive by your attention that you place on. So this is a very, very exciting topic of discussion. I've seen a lot of people checked our first video out, and it's get a lot of traction. You know what I'm saying, on social media, online, people breaking it down, everything that me and Necrocannon was talking about. So just know that, you know what I'm saying, we're going to bring it even more so on this episode, because there's a lot of shit that I didn't say on the last video, and I'm sure Necrocannon can probably say the same thing. So we're gonna go in on this shit. So get your pads, get your pens ready, and, you know, enjoy this motherfucker, because we're going in. What you got, Necro?
I want to first stop and say that I want to thank everybody for the views of watching our first class. So thank everybody for watching our prototype and on the channel. And yes, we're most definitely going to be getting more in depth with the applications of psionics use, how to strengthen your abilities, most definitely, how to focus on your abilities even though you're actively doing something else, so that way it'll be a secondary nature. So not only will you be charging, like, you're on your computer, you can charge your computer with your psionic ability, so that way you can have more focus with your typing, or to be more direct, or to for muscle memory, so you can start typing without looking at the keyboard if that was something that you was having an issue with in the life. So that's what we'll basically be getting into, such as creating like armor, and also weaponizing your psionics too, because there is a multitude of varieties of how you can use that. And even for those that do tap into vampirism, how you can definitely amplify your vampirism in regards to using your psionic ability, because a lot of that does stem from both quadrants. So I can explain at a later portion how you'll be able to use those in your day-to-day lives. So that way you're constantly draining energy from objects around you, but you focus directly on those objects and those objects alone. You'll be able to set up filters and everything else, because you'll be programming, just like how you program yourself, what you're going to be doing every day, you'll be programming your psionic energy to do a certain usage for you, so that way you have a continuous loop. So that's what we'll be getting to today, basically.
Cool. All right, so being that said, Brother Rogue Titan, what are some practical means or practical ways to implement psionics into your daily life?
By just grabbing a bull by the horns, taking a hands-on approach and making a declaration to yourself, whether you speak it aloud or within your mind, that you want to tap in and embody your psychic abilities, or you want to activate or enhance your already potent psionic abilities. First and foremost, set the intention already that you're going to accomplish this, and go about all methods and all measures and finding out ways to tap into old books. If you want to read old PDF books, if you want to listen to, you know what I'm saying, certain lectures online about developing your psionic abilities, just going about don't leave no stone unturned when it comes to enhancing it and having an enthusiasm and a childlike mindset when you go about this shit. 'Cause this absolutely fun once you start to utilize the shit and weaponize it and use it. You see what I'm saying? Once you start using it and you seeing the confirmation, like firsthand experience with the shit, like in the moment, I mean, it's a breathtaking experience, but it's also something to be very careful with these abilities. It was like, okay, like we fucking mutants. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to just be going about doing shit and not having no type of awareness of how you're going to impact the people that's in your environment or the environment that you're in as a whole. So you like almost like the more power that you gain or the more power that you remember that you already have and you activate it, it's like the less you want to use because everybody around you is like a Fabergé egg. When you're able to see energy and able to manipulate energy, that makes you absolute like an existential crisis. That's what I want everybody to fucking realize, especially when you have no forms of limitations on what you're able to express or what you're able to create with your mind. You know what I'm saying? No boundaries, no restrictions. You're able to create it, you're able to see it, and you believe in what you're seeing, regardless of what everybody else is seeing, based on expanding your awareness or expanding your levels of perception to be able to pick up on different energy fields that's all prevalent within our everyday environment that most people can't pick up. Knowing that and knowing about how to weaponize and internalize all forms of information. And you can weaponize and internalize all forms of information and aim that and direct that to the application of your psionic abilities. You see what I'm saying? So if you're watching an X-Men movie like the Dark Phoenix, I would recommend when you watch the movie, identify with all the characters, but especially the Dark Phoenix, look at that as a representation of your Kundalini spirit or your chaos energy and embody that and weaponize it and utilize it. Because all these movies and all these different, like we all talked about, neurocinematics, they're all depictions of the power that we all have available within our mind, all the power that we all have available within our psionic abilities and everything like that. So going about that every day with the mindset, I'm going to advance myself. I'm going to better myself, but also I'm going to challenge myself. Challenge myself in reading a 300-page PDF file, a book on psionic abilities. Like, I'm going to read this motherfucker. I'm not going to let nothing stop me from reading it. That's a challenge because a lot of us don't have time to do shit like that. But that's one that you're going to want to utilize because you're doing it to better yourself. You're doing it to advance your already potent psionic abilities. But know that you got to have your brain, your like brain entrainment, brain synchronization, neuroplasticity, and just overall epigenetics and being able to communicate with your body, being able to communicate with those certain brain portions of your brain and your mind. Those are methods or those are technologies that we all have available to us that I highly recommend, like I said in the first series, that you tackle. You go into that shit. Go into that shit knowing that this is a science talking about your mind. And everything, if it's a science talking about your mind, why wouldn't you want to, you know what I'm saying, re-remember this shit, relearn it to already grow from for whatever advanced level that you are at today. And just know that you're going to be better tomorrow and the next day and the next day. But with those things, with those advances come challenges, comes opportunities, come obstacles that you can create for yourself just to prove and confirm to yourself that you have this ability and you're able to utilize and ritualize or weaponize everything that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Going about doing certain things on certain dates as far as like rituals and shit like that, have an aim and a goal and tapping into one of your psionic abilities. If you want to have a better form of bilocation, echolocation, teleportation, things like that, you might want to tap into Nightcrawler or as an archetype, contact the spirit that's behind Nightcrawler during the ritual and get downloads from the motherfucker, just like you get downloads from any deities or a god or a devil we all fuck with. You know what I'm saying? As far as the, you know what I'm saying, the deific mask aspect of this left-hand path shit we all love to talk about. Though these are all avenues that you can, you know what I'm saying, you can tap into. There's no limit. There's no restrictions to this shit. You see what I'm saying? Just know that. Go into that shit with an enthusiasm like a kid going to fucking Cedar Point, knowing that you about to have a ball, knowing that you about to have a blast, but also knowing it's going to you're going to have challenges. But all challenges are all cultivated for you to prove to yourself, to sharpen your sword. And you know what I'm saying? Just to overall, just improve your abilities, just to prove that shit to yourself. So that's one thing that's how I go about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm enthusiastic about this shit. If you can't tell already, you see what I'm saying? There's like no fucking fear whatsoever. Like fear and like conscious or ego interference, that shit don't exist to me. You see what I'm saying? I reconcile, I know what my ego is and I know where my subconscious mind takes over. And my shit is just wide the fuck open. And I utilize everything within my environment and outside of this shit to fuel everything that I'm doing. But when you set an intention behind it, you can't help but have that manifest for you. So why not go about this shit knowing that you're going to accomplish everything that you set forth for yourself? And one of them is enhancing or activating your psionic abilities.
Excellent. Necrocannon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just like the brother was saying, first off, you want to have, you want to make sure that you have the proper mindset of success. So that way, no matter what you do, you see it as a successful attempt. Even if it takes you 5 times in order to make this paper move with your telekinesis, each attempt that you have is a success, because that's one step further within you tapping into yourself. Then always view your visualization of what you're attempting to do and the actual outcome of it as well. Because the more that you view the actual outcome and you see yourself within that outcome, the more that you're projecting the amount of energy that's needed into your psionics, so that way you're making that manifest. It's just like within everything else of what you've been to and where you've been at right now, you have psionically placed yourself within that thought form. You've seen yourself here, you've seen yourself there. You agreed to the terms and the conditions of the reality that was at hand to lead you to this point, in which that's where you manifested yourself now. So just by looking at that and having that self-reflection and then applying it every day, okay, I'm getting stronger in this manner because now I have more focus on this task that I have, which I would normally put off. You reinforce yourself. You also make sure that you repetitively tell yourself that you are successful. You repetitively tell yourself of what you can do, and do not tell yourself what you cannot do. Because if you give yourself the alternate programming, it will go completely against what you have. Even if all odds are stacked against you, you know that there's been multitudes of odds that's been stacked against you a number of times, but look, you always made it and you progressed. Not once have you fallen because you did what? You applied this. And then once you set stuff out for it, that's when everything happens. So for me to visualize myself having everything already done, or this is manifested, I'm here, this is going on for me, like that's how I apply it every day. Even when I'm watching certain animes, or even if I'm playing video games, so that way I can adapt whatever is within that video game in my reality. And then I'll visualize, like, say if it's like a suit of armor, then I'm actually like, I like this. So if I want to use it for defensive measures, so that way I'm reflecting off negative energy, you know, I can place myself within that suit of armor. I see it on me. I look at my skin, but I overlay it, and you can feel the energy start going over you. Once you have enough practice and enough focus for visualization, you tell your body what it is of which you want it to do off of muscle memory, charging, and other stuff like that. So that way you can wind up having that armor over you, be protected, whatever programming that you'll want to apply to it. Because everything of what you do, no matter what, is programming. Your psionics is programming. You getting up, eating is programming. So once you understand that, it'll make it a lot easier for you to tap into your innate abilities of what you're able to put forth. So with me, because it's been a very long journey in that, and it's been, I'll say, to where it is rough at first. It's not an easy task. It is going to take some work, as with everything along the way. And remember that there is no failure within your life. There's only setbacks. You set back the setback to reanalyze it and keep moving forward again. So by you moving forward and you constantly doing that progression, that's you also showing to yourself that you continuously do it. The only time that you fail is you quit. Don't ever quit. Don't ever fail. Keep going on. Take yourself some breaks every once in a while, you know, but it's really focused. So whether you're trying to do, like my brother was saying, biolocation or telepathy, or if you're literally trying to hop into someone's consciousness and actually see and actually hear their thoughts, see what they're seeing and everything else like that, that's something a little bit deeper. You know, you'll wind up having that ability to do so because you focused on it so much. So I'm constantly doing introspection on myself, my abilities, what I've set myself up for, what limitations that I put myself for, so that way I won't just go all hazardly and just start causing destruction around me, because I know what I can possibly do. But you don't want to cause that, because the equilibrium will go out, and, you know, so I'll go ahead and give it over to Bro Type.
Go ahead,
Okay.
keep rolling.
Yeah, like one of the you just touched on something as far as like knowing that, knowing about the challenges that comes up. Like for me, I go about shit, you know what I'm saying? I create challenges for myself for the book. I don't look at them as like, oh shit, man, I gotta go through this. I'm like, no, fuck that. I gotta go through this because that shit is gonna make me better. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm a warrior. All warriors require some form of war combat, some type of battle situation for them to test their motherfucking skills. That's how I look at any form of obstacle that come my way. Of course I want to fucking go through this shit. Why wouldn't I want to go through it? Because I'm all about testing myself. I'm all about advancing. I'm all about alchemically transmutating any situation to further everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm speaking into existence. So I'm going into that shit, going into the dark, going into any situation that I create for myself, a challenge with the motherfucking mindset that I'm gonna fucking train, and that's like a build. I'm just about to fly through that shit, and everything that I'm going through, I'm only adding on to the motherfucking repertoire when I'm doing. So you talking about like adding armor or adding some type of attribute or ability that you can utilize to absorb more energy. One of the things that at my foundation of my subconscious mind is to embody a black hole. I call it black hole sorcery. A black hole absorbs energy. You don't give a fuck if it's positive, negative, neutral. It absorbs the fucking energy, and it's just gonna take it in because it's indifferent to where the origin of the motherfucking energy comes from. That's one of the ways I go about it. Being indifferent to if it's positive or negative. I can go to the hood in Detroit where it's a high motherfucking crime rate, go to a liquor store just to be in that chaotic ass environment and love that shit. Love the fucking allure, that feeling of just all that hysteria and all that chaotic energy going on, and go in the suburb where I live where it's all peaceful and them fucking picket fence and shit and still get the same feeling. You see what I'm saying? Being indifferent to it, but just absorbing the energy nonetheless because there's an energy there for you to take in. What are you taking it in for? Where are you storing it? Where are you conserving it? A lot of the times I do that shit to feed my servitors. A lot of the times I use that shit to, you know what I'm saying, add energy to my altar vortex because I might have a ritual set up that specific night that I might want to tap into some shit. And the more energy that you put to something, the more magnified it is. But when you aim it and have an intention behind it, like I talk about writing my rituals down or speaking them to existence, it's just going to happen. It's just going to be that much more profound. But due to the subconscious reprogram, I want you, like, I work this shit every fucking day. Like, there's no turning this shit off. There's no, I'm a rest today. No, I'm always doing this shit. It's like a motherfucker turn on the on switch and I don't even know where the off switch no more. It don't exist no more. But because of that, because of my mindset, I'm under a form of self-hypnosis or like in a trance where I have to do this shit. I have to advance. I have to talk to y'all niggas and come up with new creative ideas to add on to the shit I'm already doing. You see what I'm saying? That's why I like to, so that's why I'm open-minded to everything. I don't motherfucking say, nigga, I figured it all out. I'm just gonna rest on my laurels. No, nigga, I ain't listening. No, fuck that. I'm adding everything everybody's saying and taking that shit in and breaking that shit down to raw energy and absorbing that shit and moving forward. You see what I'm saying? Knowing that anything, whether it's a positive review, negative, like, dislike, hate, love, at the end of the day, to me, it's energy. And I'm transmutating that shit because I'm an alchemist. I'm a sorcerer. And I'm going about that shit indifferent, not thinking like a human, thinking like a fucking whatever. But going about that shit, knowing that I'm fueling my psionic ability, I'm fueling my alchemical transformation, I'm fueling my creativity, my imagination with no interference, no thought forms exist or negative thought forms of like, what if this shit don't work? I already saw it working. And I just follow that shit through from a linear perspective and I'll just reach my goal. You see what I'm saying? So just having like you talked about, the repetitiveness of every day going through this shit, because that's one of the ways we subconsciously reprogram ourselves, through repetition, through trauma, symbols and shit like that. That's the language of our subconscious mind. But that's the thing that has to be understood, that you have to reprogram your motherfucking subconscious mind. Not only that, but weaponize it. And then once you have that mindset, once your mindset is on that type of level, it's a whole nother motherfucking world open up to you. All kind of different opportunities open up to you once your mind is reprogrammed to take in environmental data at a different level. When you have an accelerated brainwave level, or you just absorbing information, and you absorbing this information and you weaponize it. And no matter what the fuck it is, it can be tic-tac-toe, whatever, it could be a fucking, you know what I'm saying, cat in the hat or whatever. You taking that shit and you utilizing that shit for your creativity. Say a childlike book or something like that. That shit is opening up different worlds, different ways to express your imagination when your abilities are right now. So yeah. Just knowing that you going through this shit every day, having the subconscious reprogramming that you're weaponizing your human existence. Everything you fucking do is a ritual. Like Ravana Noon said, long time ago with one of his videos that struck a chord with me, that he ritualized everything. I'm like, what? That makes fucking perfect sense. Why wouldn't you fucking want to do that? That makes everything you do with the magical, it's a magical aspect behind everything. You can't fucking fail once you have that mindset. Everything that you're doing, how can you suffer? How can you complain? How can you be a victim? How can you fucking, you know what I'm saying, complain about anything when you controlling everything and you utilizing everything within your fucking environment, everything within your human life from a ritualistic perspective, like chaos magic. It don't matter what the fuck somebody else is talking about. What it is that you think about what you're doing and how does it relate to you and what confirmation and result that you get to, you can prove to yourself. Fuck anybody else, fuck me, anybody else you're trying to prove it to. You getting the confirmation, you proving it to yourself with this shit, that's all that fucking matters. You get the results, you see them, and you can confirm them yourself, keep going. Like, this shit is fucking fun. It's like I said, there's no excuses. Like, there's no excuses to this shit. Like, this shit is fucking fun to tap into, man. Like, I'm like, straight up, you hear me? I just want to jump through the fucking roof with this shit, cause it's so fucking fun. Like, tomorrow I'm gonna fucking look at this shit and I'm like, man, this nigga wasn't on shit, cause I'm gonna be more advanced tomorrow. The next day. It's like motherfucking Goku going through all them different training, and what he doing? He reaching his fucking limit and he pushing past them shits. You be thinking he talked out of like Super Saiyan 4, this nigga go to God level, then he go to super God level 20, then he go to fucking Ultra Instinct, then he go to Master Ultra Instinct. See what I'm saying? It's levels to this shit, and every level, it's a challenge. Push through, and you know that you can't fucking stop. So you gotta go through that shit. You see what I'm saying? Do you think a motherfucking asteroid when it's going through space, you think he thinking about stopping? He just going through shit. Whatever he land on, but he going through it, and he motherfucking going at a house fucking speed. You see what I'm saying? Have that mindset, like, you can't fucking lose with this shit. But you also can't be thinking like no fucking human. You can't grovel and, oh man, I'm these bitch ass niggas at work, I can't get no raise. Man, with all this psionic shit, man, you can buy motherfuckers up there at your job, have them motherfuckers give you a 20% raise. You can have your whole goddamn job in there, motherfucker, under a trance to motherfucker be bringing you lunch. You can do all kind of shit. There's no fucking excuse for you not to be living your motherfucking best life that we like to talk about. You see what I'm saying? Once you open up this shit, once you enhance and allow your motherfucking perception to just be, and allow your subconscious reprogramming to stand on this fucking own without you trying to consciously control everything. You don't have to when you fucking subconsciously reprogram your shit to set with the desire to just absorb all this shit around you and use for your psionic abilities. You can just sit back and chill because your subconscious reprogramming is doing the work for you. And that's what we dictate our reality now. That's the shit we talking about. You see what I'm saying? But be enthusiastic with the shit and create challenges for yourself. Have fun. You see what I'm saying? Setbacks, whatever. Fuck, you know what I'm saying? You lift them weights. You ain't always gonna be able to bench 300 pounds, but you know that's the goal. Keep going to that shit till you get to it, and fuck it. Say, I'm gonna bench 330. Keep going to it till you get to 330. Fuck it, I'm gonna get to 400. Keep going till you get to 400, and you know what I'm saying? The list goes on. Like, have fun with this shit. Don't put no motherfucking limit to your shit because you're a chaos being, and there's no motherfucking limits to chaos in the way that it can express itself in physical reality. It's not.
Right. And I want to say real quick, just like how you touched on Goku and Dragon Ball Z, that aspect of them focusing their anger to achieve more power in themselves and then having that directive focus, that is one aspect that I utilize myself. And what also touched me about it earlier, you did a post on Instagram, Broly, I've been fucking with since day one, ever before they even did the remake about it, because Broly himself, he can even whoop Beerus once he gets to that certain point. So just the amount of power that he would tap into, even though he would go into berserker mode, he would actually lose it. Once he would actually understand and he was focused in his berserker mode, he is completely and utterly unstoppable. Like, not only does he amplify his body size, but his actual power source too. He's directly focused, and he is destruction made manifest, like straight just annihilate things. So like, I would even utilize him. I'd see myself charging up, and then actually you can, by taking a certain stance, and by utilizing Tai Chi and Qigong and learning, how to tap into the energy in the upper and lower dantians and how to actually really tap into your solar plexus, you can make your energy jump and you can make it spike that way too. Because a lot of people don't know that Dragon Ball Z is based off of actual you know, martial arts and the like you can actually look this stuff up and you can see to where they actually got it from even the fighting styles, how to manipulate energy and everything else. So that information is out there. Like when you see these cartoons and these animes and stuff, it ain't just because somebody's just haphazardly thinking about it. No, it's based off of stuff and experiences out there. Same thing with the X-Men too. It's based off of us using our abilities and the different functions that we're able to do, from how we're able to melt things, you know, from how we're able to telekinetically move things. You know, even on the basis to where it was what Magneto and Professor X was, you know, those two strongest mutants that are around. Look at the difference of abilities that they have together, but they still work with one another. So that even in that aspect, you can see to where on like in the proverbial side, you know, light and dark still coexisting and still working with one another. Even though they still had their battles, they still assisted. So if you take that reference about your own powers and see your dark aspect of what you have, and you see your light aspect of what you have, you bring them together so that way you become one. And then that's when you can really tap into whatever that you have put within your subconscious for your abilities. Make sure that, like Rogue Tiger was saying, you absorb and assimilate all information and all data that is prevalent to you. If you feel like it's trash, you can go ahead and dump it. If you feel like if it's something that truly sparks your interest, and you can even have that feeling inside of your heart chakra area, and it's like, because you know when you get that feeling in there, you're like, oh, hold on a second, is this actually moving you? That's the information that you seriously need to take in, because that's what's going to propel you forward. Because notice that once you have that feeling, that sonic blast from there, you start thinking about that one aspect. You might look up something on Google. You might start doing everything else, and the next thing you know, you're down your path. That is your keynote to let you know what is the most important stuff to you. Just to give you that about a signal for your own body. So when you start paying more attention to the receptor points along your body, when you know when certain chakra points are going off, like, okay, what is this triggering? What is this? And like I was talking about shielding, you'll be able, if you feel like you're being drained from somebody else or being assaulted, you'll be able to not only cut off this source, put up a shield, and then you can redirect another power source to them so you can drain their energy back from them. So that way you're always protecting yourself. Or if you're out and you just want to take nature energy, you know, you can go out, set your energy to program to latch onto each tree that you're able to see and that you're not consciously able to see, because your mind can see at 360 degrees, period. You can see in all angles. You might have to turn around and look, but once you look at the angle and you turn around, you consciously have that image in your mind of that location of where that place was, that entire street, everything else. So you can link your energy down that street to drain that energy from those trees, or that alone, so you're not picking up from certain portions of different energies and areas that also allow you to have focus and also retain your visualization. Just like you can sit there and look at a picture on the wall, stare at it until you get the blankness going, close your eyes, see that image, then walk out and keep looking at that image no matter what. Like, just see the image in your mind, make it as solid as you can, come back, repeat, and then keep doing that. That way, that'll help you with your visualization. So then when you want to see yourself in said city, you might see just a split second of a picture of a place. You can teleport yourself to that area and consciously say, this is where I want to be at. And then as long as you see yourself there, then next thing you know, different opportunities will arise. Hey, here's this. Or you might wind up receiving an email because this is what you're pulling to yourself, because you're consciously there. You envision yourself there at that spot. So that's where the rest of you are trying to get to. You're trying to reach your physical applications, trying to reach up where your future consciousness is at. So because you're applying your psionic energy to that time stream, that's where it's going for you. That's why I was saying you are consciously where you are at, from where you thought, by your choices and your decisions, by your yeses and your nos, by your, oh, well, I guess I'll go ahead and do this, and I don't think I want to do that. That led you exactly to where you are right now, even to where your understanding of consciousness is, because you allowed yourself to expand. You want to continue to keep expanding and make everything prevalent to you stand out so you can use that. Anything else, like I said, that's trash, dump it. Don't keep it in your mind on, oh, well, I was thinking about this yesterday. No, don't waste your energy or your time on that. Like, I'll even say it like this. Look at I'll use radio as an example. How it's not only consciously manipulating individuals, but they're actually emulating because of the images of what they see in their mind. You say, oh, I'm trying to be like this, and then they show it on television. So now you have two forms of wave patterns that's coming in to the receptors within their consciousness. They see themselves being like that. They start emulating it like that. Then next thing you know, what? They're exactly like that. Same thing with what you need to do for yourself within your psionic ability. See yourself doing those things, amplifying your energy. Take time to meditate, focus on yourself, and always give yourself that positive aspect to say that I'm doing better and I'm successful at no matter what it is of what I do. That's the only thing of what you need to tell yourself, because the moment that you start doubting yourself, or the moment that you start telling yourself what you can't do, you block yourself automatically. And you're the only person that's ever blocking you, period. Nobody else is ever blocking you, because nobody will ever stop you. If you truly and really want to do something, you will actually do it. So have that attitude towards what you're wanting to apply within your psionic abilities and with your magical abilities, and then you'll be unstoppable. But you're the only one that's ever stopping you, so reprogram yourself. That way that won't happen anymore. And then watch you start having more progress. Watch you start having your manifestations come along because of the energy that you're applying to your thoughts, to that psionic energy for that to manifest, versus adding the counter energy to it, which you're drawing away from that reality. That's the reason why it takes so long for stuff to manifest for you, because you're applying the negative energy. Start applying your other energy and reprogram yourself that no matter what, that happens for you. Like, I cannot stress that. Look at all the super rich people out there, all the people that are actually successful, even within the metaphysical field. What do they say? They're positive about the work. Even Brother Rogue Titan, he's also positive about his work. Look how successful he is, even for myself. I'm always saying I'm successful no matter what. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I've come a long way. Like, my journey was something serious. But once I applied that to me, that's when everything started getting better for me. And I've been through it, but I can't say that the mind, I can't say this enough, like, the mind and how you program yourself is key, so that way you always see your productive outcome. You always got to see yourself there. Even with the ritual that I was able to do with my girlfriend the other evening, like, we're starting to see results like this, from us consciously applying that. We've been seeing things happen within the future, always putting that energy for that, and stuff's coming up in regards to that. So it's like, that's another reason why I can't stress it. The more you apply that positive application of energy, the more that you have that happiness about it, because you see how I sparked up about energy, just talking about, what's going on and everything else, because it's happening. You act like that, you apply that type of energy, and look at the energy that I'm applying to that thought manifestation, which is enough to make it manifest much quicker. Especially since if she's doing the same thing, that's what you're going to get. So that's what I'm showing in regards to, if it makes you feel like this, harness that energy, project it, have your intent, your focus, see your outcome, stick with your outcome. Don't allow anything else within your mind. Here.
Well,
excellent, brother. Any more? Rogue Titan.
Yeah, I actually do, man. One of the things I can't act like this shit's sweet either. Cause this is one thing I will say that I didn't say last week, is that due to enhancing and advancing your psionic ability, I do know this shit and I mean this shit, is that the government, whatever you want to call this shit, they know exactly the potential threat, the potential power that we all have. Don't think these motherfuckers ain't been, that shit you see on Stranger Things, when they got the Russians going through that shit with remote viewing and shit like that. They've been doing this shit for a long motherfucking time. I don't know how many motherfucking PDFs I read on DARPA and Lockheed Martin and all the little secret science, psionic programs the motherfucker got, and kidnapping kids and trying to create motherfucking X-Men out of these motherfuckers. When it comes with genetics, when it comes to kidnapping black people and doing melanin harvest and all that shit, these motherfuckers know about how powerful we are, about the dormant potential that we all have, that I'll talk about far as like metagene, the metagenetics and shit like that. One of the things that I've come across that I will say this shit is like, you know what I'm saying, doing certain rituals and just enhancing my awareness, like just outside, just in an environment everywhere around me. That these motherfuckers got, I'm gonna say probably within like a lower fourth dimensional plane, whatever. These motherfuckers got remote viewers that they strategically spot on motherfuckers who able to advance their awareness or perception to a level to try to lock in on your consciousness or your energy signature, where you at, because you got to think about wherever you at, you sending out brain waves. And motherfucker, if you are doing shit at night and you up and your motherfucking brain is on some gamma waves or some shit at like 3 or 4 in the morning when the majority, like 99% of the people within your fucking city or state is asleep, you fucking light up like a motherfucking light in the dark. Motherfuckers they have quantifiable technology where they pick that shit up. They like, whoa, what the fuck is this nigga doing? Let's find out where he doing. You know what I'm saying? That you will come in contact with shit like that. You will see him. And me having the intention, me knowing that, I had set up ritual up where I wanted to see. I wanted to find out for myself where these motherfuckers able to come in with some type of interference where you can just tell. Like, I can't really explain how you know this shit, but most motherfuckers know when you motherfucking being spied on or some outside interference as far as like consciousness or spirits or whatever. But it makes me able to communicate with spirits. I know that energy, but I also know some energy when a motherfucker, like a foreign energy, is almost like peering in, trying to peer in like almost like a mirror, and you can just pick that shit up. And one of the things that you will have to do, you're gonna have to know some motherfucking sorcery. You're gonna have to know some form of, you just gonna have to do it in a moment. Ain't no shit you read in a motherfucking book. It ain't like, oh, Panic said do this, or Rhonda Noon said do that. No, it's gonna have to be what your subconscious been reprogrammed with. When you in that motherfucking moment, you know exactly what to do. You just respond, you just react. And one of the things that I've done was send out a psionic wave to all of these motherfuckers that was locked in on my location with images of fucking them being killed, images of fucking just self-destructive behavior, images of motherfucking just like all kinds of forms of fucking fear these motherfuckers have when you know that they motherfucking peering in on you, that you know it's like a fucking, you got about a hook. It's an energy core, and you can send, just like they send the energy to you, you can redirect that motherfucking same energy, and you can redirect that energy how you want to aim it. You can have that energy be fucking anger, hate, whatever. Aim your motherfucking emotions back to these motherfuckers so they psionically paying attention to you, and you can do whatever. You see what I'm saying? But it will happen. Motherfuckers talk about like, if they, I don't know what dimension it is, it may be lower fourth dimension. It ain't real high, but I know they got motherfucking psychics that just like, or remote viewers or whatever, that is like almost stationed almost outside of this dimensional plane where it's almost like a to keep motherfuckers like quarantined on a certain level. You see what I'm saying? That's the shit that's the only way I could able to explain this shit. Now I was told this shit by some other motherfucking source. They told me about, nigga, don't think these motherfuckers don't know this shit because I do frequency modulation. I do brainwave entrainment and synchronization like throughout the motherfucking day. I might be in flow state for 3-4 fucking days where I'm on gamma wave, like 40 hertz and shit like that. That they know that they can pick that shit up within the environment. Like, this is abnormal. That's some abnormal brainwave that a human being is walking around with in comparison with everybody else in their environment. Like, this motherfucker is actively, consciously weaponizing his brainwave. Why is he doing this shit? So pay attention to your environment. Pay attention to people that's in your environment when you doing certain experimentation on yourself, when you having these certain brainwave that you might be doing frequencies on yourself. Pay attention to how your environment is responding to your energy. You see what I'm saying? A little subtle type of shit. You see what I'm saying? But those are things that you're gonna have to get used to. Cause this motherfucker, you gotta understand something. Like, outside of this motherfucker, outside the body, you're gonna have to know this shit. That's why I'm telling you, this is a prioritized motherfucking technology that we all have. It's a technology. And you're gonna have to motherfucking learn this shit. Wow, you know what I'm saying? Because when your body dropping, when you astral fucking projecting, when you going throughout the hyperverse and shit like that, this is when this shit is absolutely fucking critical and necessary for you to weaponize and initialize this shit. You have to have it. Or if not, why the fuck is you going up there? It's like you going to a motherfucking fucking war with no weapon. Nigga, you ain't even got a rock to throw because you think shit's sweet. It ain't sweet up there. It ain't sweet outside this motherfucker. It's everything outside there. It's some fluffy shit. It's some motherfucking dark monstrous shit. You see what I'm saying? But where the fuck you want to go? You see what I'm saying? I fuck with the dark and ugly type of shit. That's what I'm used to. Don't think this shit is sweet. This shit is not nothing to be fucking around with. Take motherfucking more critical analysis on your power and your ability, and know that this is some shit that you're gonna have to motherfucking know. But have a childlike enthusiasm about it, but also give yourself motherfucking pay attention to this shit, because this is some shit that you're gonna have to utilize. You will see this shit. Now, I don't know if y'all all know this shit as far as like the government PDF file that they had on this shit, as far as like, you know, the melanin shit, as far as like the super soldier program that they created and shit. Who the fuck you think they creating these goddamn super soldiers for? Like motherfuckers like us. Like literally, like we fucking mute. You don't think these motherfuckers are like in the mutant initiative when them motherfuckers got signals and shit? But motherfuckers, when they start to turn they goddamn mutant genes on, they got shit in place for motherfuckers. They got weapons that's silent weapons for quiet wars and type of shit where they got certain frequencies and shit like that where they beam on a motherfucker like us with melanin and we absorb energy and they know we energy conductors. They got frequencies that know how to scramble that type of shit. So that goes back into like the Venom movies and shit like that, where they was using frequencies and loud sounds to fuck with them. So we pay attention to that, know and identify with Venom. You know that these motherfuckers is kind of, they know about how powerful we are. They know that if we aim and direct our energy, we can fuck them up. But they also know that the threat level that we are. You see what I'm saying? That's why they use shit within society to try to keep us in our reptilian brain or in like survival mode where we not operating on the higher faculties of our brain. You know, you got 3 motherfucking brains. I ain't gonna name them all. But the motherfucking base level is the reptilian brain. That's so based on survival. But they know that they got to keep you there because outside of that shit, they can't control you because you straight fucking chaos. You see what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why they really have honestly, they have a hard time mind controlling the melanated population. One of the successes that they do have in mind controlling is us mind controlling our motherfucking selves by falling into and believing in the thought forms of limitation. Believing that we fucking human. Nobody fucking told us somebody told us we was fucking human and we just believed it. But because of that comes limitations, because it becomes restrictions, becomes, you know what I'm saying, you looking outside of yourself for some salvation, some God outside of you who created you that's more powerful than you, that's gonna give you your motherfucking, that's gonna let you know that you're doing right or wrong, that's gonna let you into heaven or hell. Like those are some of the things that we bought into by believing that we was this corporeal, this little fleshly thing. And everybody that's in our environment is almost testing it and almost giving strength to that false narrative. Motherfucker, you be whatever the fuck you call yourself. But also, what comes with that is having the mindset of subconsciously reprogramming yourself. But because of that shit, I'm going to say it again. Don't think these motherfuckers don't know this shit. Don't fucking think that shit for a motherfucking second. And if they can't, it's almost like if they can't directly impact you, they might try to directly impact somebody within your environment who had a psychological susceptibility to their frequencies or to their influence. You see what I'm saying? They don't really have the spiritual technology. They have technology to try to fuck with our spiritual technology, so to speak, by using frequencies, Wi-Fi, 5G, whatever the fuck you want to call that shit. They are aware of the energy that we have. So just know that shit. Just know that if you come across some shit like that, you're going to know what to do within the moment. I'm going to just say that shit. Go ahead, Necro.
Let me say this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
3/5 of the human beings. You remember this used to be written, right? In the Constitution. Mm-hmm. We argued, fought for to become human.
Yes.
3/5, people interpret it as saying you were 3/5 of what a human being is, but in actuality, it was coded insofar as that you're 3/5 of a human, but the 2/5 is supposed to represent your godlike nature. We fought and argued to become human. When you go into the Masonic Lodge, they teach you certain beliefs, they teach you certain philosophy. What happens is when you go into the lodge in your ante room, you're being prepared, you are your most godlike state. When you're in an ante room, you're being prepared, you hear all these noises, these sounds, your mind is inquisitive, is thinking because you're blindfolded. What happens then is because you hear everything, you hear these sounds, you start to think on a higher level. They take you through the lodge, you walk around the lodge. Once you get in front of the altar to do your oath, and after your oath, and they take off the blindfold, they hit you with the light, they just took you from a God level back to becoming a human and encasing you back into human mentality, human limitations, and human acceptance of your existence. So right. We have to understand that we have done this to ourselves. We can blame the white man all we want, but for the most part, we do this to ourselves where we limit our mentality by accepting what is given to us. And what I mean by that is a Caucasian doesn't have to do a damn thing to you right now. They could just whisper it out there. Okay, listen, black people are this, or whatever. And you know what happens? We get emotional, which now you're feeding them, which then they can control you. 2, we start to argue and debate, trying to decipher and dissect what they're saying as if it has validity. And then 3, now we just limited ourselves because we're arguing about a limited philosophy or system that they gave you. Now, what happens is the reality is this. Rogue Titans 100, when you go to the Astral, you are not going to be playing Kumbaya, holding hands, singing Kumbaya with people. You're not going to be playing patty cakes and all this bullshit that people think. When you go into the Astral realm, it's literally a war of your mind. You're either going to master yourself, become greater in them, or you're going to become enslaved, controlled, and made more fearful. What happens though is this. That's important. But when you come back into the physical, your experience that you had there, when you come back into your physical, if you were enslaved, made fearful, you are now limited once again because you didn't take control when you were there. So you're limited when you come back because now you're afraid to go back to the Astral because, oh my God, these whatever attacked me, or I'm afraid to confront this, or this is why we always say if you don't deal with your shit, somebody gonna make you deal with that shit. And when you hit the Astral, you will be forced to face your shit. You gotta remember, I don't speak about this a lot, but trust me, I know about this. There is a lot of programs that have always been manipulating humanity. What do you think the fucking Bible's about? The Bible was remote viewing, yo. When they had people there and they were telling you about certain instances that humans were doing, whether it's Moses, Abraham, or people like that, who the fuck was this so-called God that was remote viewing? And why is it sometimes it says we, sometimes it says I, sometimes it says us, and people argue, no, that's still God because God is a Trinity, so it's we. Listen, motherfucker, that is retarded, okay? You gotta understand that. When you read closely and watch these things, that's remote viewing. Oh, God was in a bush, right? And he was presenting himself to Moses in a bush. But do you not understand that you could actually hologramically project some fire to veil who you are, to watch or review or control your slaves? Because when you look, even in the Quran, it says that your mission, your goal as a human is to be Abdullah, a slave or servant of Allah. That's because you have certain groups of people whose whole mission is to enslave you. Why? Because you are a drug to them. You are a drug. They love to feed off you. When your adrenaline flows, it is a drug to certain beings, certain entities that get high off of your shit. And more potent is the ones who are melanated. They understand that shit.
No,
so it's like, okay, they can feed off of any nationality, ethnic group, or race, right? But when they get to the more melanated people, it's like you added sugar cane to your lemonade. So now it became even sweeter. You understand? So it gets addictive and they want more. So understand, this is not a game insofar as when you go to those realms, and this is why I take my time a lot of times in classes before I get to the Astral, because I'm not trying to jump people into the Astral and they still ain't dealt with their bullshit, because there's niggas that's shit there waiting for you. Just like in Stranger Things, right? They thought they defeated this motherfucker, right? They thought they defeated this entity, so to speak, who has minions out there, right? Season 3 comes, they still thought they defeated it. No, they didn't defeat that motherfucker, because at the end, well, I ain't gonna ruin it. If y'all ain't seen that shit, you gotta watch it. But just know that every time you think you got something, they're trying to always be 5-10 steps ahead of you. You guys to really take initiative to be 10, 15, 20 steps ahead of what it is being done to you, what is being used to manipulate you. Do you think, I don't care if some of y'all like trap or not, I don't give a fuck if it offends you. Do you think trap music was a coincidence? No, it fucking wasn't. It was used because once that music hit, they saw how they can hypnotically put you under a spell and control you. Not just you, but all across the world, people are listening to trap, which is the same rhythm, vibration, and frequency, to put people under a massive hypnosis at one time because they see how quick it caught on. But that's another story. Go ahead, John. Take it away.
Go ahead, Necro.
Oh, I was also going to say that, yeah, and touching on how they do know once you do hit a certain spike within thought process. So just when they are directing energy at you, like how Rope Titan was saying about, redirect your energy, I usually take that time to feed off of them, because if you're directing energy to me, then I'm going to latch on to that frequency and I'm going to start drawing more and more. And then the more that they're trying to pull away, the more they're going to hurt themselves. Or kind of like how Cthulhu or how an Illithid latches on to the brain of it. That's the image of what I basically send out to whoever's sending that to me. So I'm latched onto the brain and I'm draining out the energy. The more you struggle, the more you pull, the more that it's going to rip to eventually they're going to cause themselves dire pain. So that's like a protective measure. Another one is to where you can shield yourself with a fortress around you, make it impenetrable. You can add several different layers, so that way no energy is being reflected to you, and or if it is, you can have a filtering effect, so that way that energy will come in, amplify yourself to reinforce your shield, so that way it's just getting stronger. Kind of like how, when the Hulk gets angry, the more angry he gets, the more stronger he gets. And it's endless in that aspect. So once you think in that aspect as well, okay, it's endless, because you got to get out of the thought form of I am human, right? That is absolutely correct, because you're actually more than human. You're just having a human experience. It's just a shell. You actually are limitless, but just like I was saying, the programming has taught you to be within certain limits. You believe these limits, you accepted these limits. You notice how other people started exhibiting those limits, emulating those limits, therefore you put it within yourself. Now with those limits that you decided to break, that you say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, you stuck with your mindset for it, notice that you broke those limits. So just be limitless within your thought process. Still make sure that you do have certain boundaries that you will not cross, so that way you won't cause any destruction in aspects. Take off the thought that you are a human, because you're not human, or else you wouldn't be able to do certain things. To me, a human is like how the word is exhibited in law. It is a monster. It is an amalgamation of flesh of an autonomous being that's walking around that has no conscious effort or conscious reasoning, that's just eating something. That is my thought and my aspect of it. Because as gods, it's the fact that we're able to procreate ourselves. We're to not only regenerate ourselves by healing ourselves, we're able to make copies of ourselves. We're able to literally out of thin air go and create something by gathering some mud together, some water, putting it together, making it dry, and then start creating buildings out of nothing. That is godship. That is not just being human, And then another aspect, such as human or such as robot, is a worker. So that's another thing that you're calling yourself to. You're calling yourself a worker. Oh, that's just a human thing to do. Oh, it's just this and that. Notice that program and what they gave to you in order to literally control you, to put you within this box. And notice that every time that when you try to break free, or even within the movies or in the stories, anytime anybody breaks free from the formality or the conformality of things, to where they're the ones that's sought after, they're the ones that's like, oh, we got to stop them, because they are the breakers of that reality. That's what they're trying to show you subconsciously and subjectively. That this is what's happening. Those people that do this, they will break that norm to where that will be an expansion of consciousness for everybody at that time. That's the reason why a bunch of stuff is taboo. They don't want you looking at this, because that'll expand your consciousness. Then you'll accept it for yourself, and then you'll be able to grow. Same thing as magic. Magic has gotten a bad name in a multitude of areas, but it helps you out so much in every area because you are a magical being. Like how they even implemented to where dark magic is supposed to be negative, but it's not. It's only negative within the aspect if you think it's negative, and then if you utilize it for that. Or you can use dark magic in order to boost yourself, heal others. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different applications for that. It's not just being destructive or, oh, I want to hex you or this or that. Like, nah, that's if you have to go to the extreme and you need to take those measures, yeah, that you would do that. Other than that, no, it's about mastering yourself and utilizing those to, destroy certain aspects of you, so that way you can grow stronger. Then when you're applying your psionics to it, I'm going to be much better in this aspect because I've dealt with this aspect of myself. You're programming now that energy to allow, more flow for you. So just with not only reprogramming your mind, telling yourself that you are not human, then you will ultimately be able to do the same things that quote unquote gods are able to do, because mind you, they were just within aspects. Even within the Hindu text with the Bhagavad Gita, when you look at how the gods were flying around in the different aerial ships, which they were telling you that they had spaceships back then at that time of what they were flying around. So the whole thing about spaceships, the spaceships and stuff, that's old. It's old backwater data of what they're able to reconfigure, what they're using now, and what they're trying to keep hush. You know, that's why like, even when they the dummy said we're all going to rush Area 51 in this side, that's not going to happen. But that is one area to where they have them too. Even here in Texas at the Johnson Space Research Center, they have a couple down here as well too. From when I was able to do that aspect, like I know that for without a shadow of a doubt, because me and several other people have seen them several different times. You know, plus a couple of different areas like what they have in Houston as well too. So yeah, they have those, and that's when like you see a green streak in the sky or anything else, you hear that vacuum suck space, and then the boom that's going along with it. That's them actually utilizing that technology. And like so once you start expanding outwards and not thinking of yourself as human anymore, that's when you can really start causing actual change within not only your environment, but inside of yourself. Because when you can consciously go in and tell yourself that I'm going to do this chemically to my body, I'm going to adjust my cells in this, and you vibrate and you actually focus on that molecular change, your body's going to respond to it. Just like you say, you're going to exercise to keep yourself young. These are the things I want to do to keep myself young. You do those things, you reprogram your mind to keep yourself young. Your body's going to react to it because that's what you said, what you were going to do in order to have that happen. So just always be mindful of that. Rolling forward, adjust your mindset. Don't have the limitations that people give you, don't even accept them. And if you limit yourself, question why you're limiting yourself on a certain aspect. If you're limiting yourself because you know you're going to go off the wall and overboard for it, okay, that's a boundary versus being a limit. But if you're saying, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, you just defeated yourself. You literally defeated what you had set up for yourself. Then you're probably going to go into the psychological aspect of complaining about not getting the third thing of what you wanted, but you were the one that set up there and added that counter energy to your own thought process for it to manifest. And then you also agree to this term and condition in this portion of reality for that to exist for you. So the only person which you can get up to is yourself. So be mindful of your thoughts. Be careful of what choices that you're wanting to make, and just be like, really do introspection constantly. So that way it's like, okay, I know if I do this and I go this route, this is what's going to happen. If I go this route, this is what's going to happen. Go whatever route that you feel is best for you. Whether if it's something that, like I said, if it's a setback for you, now you can just reanalyze yourself. If it's a win for you, good. That's a win for you to notarize, and then you keep going. But always document your wins and your losses. Well, they're not losses, but your wins and your setbacks, so that way you can analyze them. That way, if you're going about a certain subject later on, you know how to do it. So such as, like the example I was using earlier, if you're doing telekinesis in order to move the paper because you're so focused on being one with the paper, extending your energy to the paper, and noticing that you and the paper are the exact same consciousness, it's an extension of your consciousness, or this piece of paper wouldn't be in front of you for you to focus on in the first place. So by you utilizing that and trying to move, you know, first off, might not have such, you might flinch a little bit, document that, give yourself a moment, go back and then keep doing it, and everything of what you do, document it. If it flinches, if it's moving, that way you're able to have, you'll be able to access, see, you're programming your mind, so that way the next time when you're like, okay, the paper's going to be over here, and by the time that you do it, the paper actually goes there because you gave it the command. You already are one with that paper. You know this, and you move the paper where you need to be. Same instance to where one instance your keys aren't there, you're looking for it. The next thing you know, when you really focus on your keys, you turn around and it's sitting right there. Or you go on and walking directly to it because you focus on that vibrational frequency of what you gave that object. That's where, like Robotype was saying earlier, you're placing your energy on certain objects so that way it's summoning it. That's why you're able to find it sometimes, especially when you actively can't look for it, but when you're like, okay, give myself a second, and you focus on that energy signature, but you give it, you usually walk directly to it or move something, and then you pick it up right there. And you're like, what was it doing over here? You know, but You didn't actively look at, dang, I found this stuff with my sonic energy. So next thing that I apply my energy to, whether it's to a person, place, and or thing, when I need to find said location, object, or anything else, I know to focus on my own energy signature so that way I'm able to go out. Then you'll be able to focus on the different vibrations that are around you too, because you're constantly being bombarded by vibrations, especially like if you go to work, drive, and you're listening to the radio, not only are you bombarded by your own consciousness, you're bombarded by the radio that's there. If you have somebody else in that car, you're bombarded by that consciousness. And the drivers that are around you too, you're bombarded by their consciousness as well, because all of y'all are paying attention to each other on that road to make sure that nothing's going on. So you have all these frequencies that you're interacting with. So once you're able to consciously just focus on one, but still be aware of all of them, you'll be able to maximize your own abilities, because you're able to, okay, this vibration's coming. I have this one coming in. This needs to be blocked off because I need to focus on this. You'll be able to take that energy in, and then you'll be able to focus on all of them at once versus being overwhelmed because you got this going on, you got this going on, you got this going on. You'll be like, okay, this is most important. This is second. This is this. This is this. And then you'll be able to get everything done because you took that chaos, you put that chaos within order, you applied the psionic energies for what is first, and then went along the way, and then you actively created that reality for yourself to get it done without letting things be overwhelmed to you or catching yourself off guard or saying, oh, it's just too much. It's never too much for you, or else you would be bombarded. It's just a test, and you will always be successful in your test if you see it that way.
Now, for sake of time, let's start taking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Demetrius, we're going to start with you.
Alrighty.
Come on with it.
Well, you are absolutely correct, Rogue Titan, and Ravana, you touched on it too about these government entities and other entities are very aware of psionics and radionic. Well, they're aware of different aspects of the occult and whatnot. They've been doing studies and practices for years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one thing that I learned from the movie The Matrix, and I think it's one of the greatest lessons Morpheus ever tried to teach Neo, is when he was walking with him through the simulation with all the people, and there was the one with the red dress, and he told him, and I'm telling this to everybody that's listening to this too, and will watch it later, do understand this. If you are on this path and you're doing this work, if you're not one of us, you're one of them.
Yep.
Period.
And
if you're caught out there on the astral plane slipping, you're gonna get fucked up. That's plain and simple. But as far as the psionics go, how to make that work and how to deal with these government entities and other entities and all that other stuff, it's very simple. Remembering you are God. Just remembering that.
First rule.
How do you remember that? I'm gonna give you some quick techniques. I know we're pressed for time. One of the easiest ways I've done this with people, you can do it right now. Just kind of visualize a flower. You know, if you find a flower in your garden or something, just think of the flower, look at its beauty, look at its scent, and connect to that beauty and all that stuff. Now I want you to check where that feeling is coming from. It's not coming from the flower. It's coming from you, from the inside out. That means that you generate all trends. That tells you that you are the source. I do this with Christian people all the time that talk about God. You want to feel God? I'm going to show you God. That's God. When you do that, you operate like that, you are enlightened, you are God. So by doing that, you can manifest trends. With psionic trends, God form a planet. You know, you need an energetic planetary trend, become that planet. You need another one. Well, you become that one planet, you become another planet along with it. Mix those trends, utilize them, aim them at your goals or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, bringing that into reality and all that. Use the tools to amplify that, but if you don't have them, then that's what you got yourself. That's the reason why they have all the fear mongering. They got all these shootings and whatnot. Fuck that shit. You know, gird yourself up, protect yourself from all that stuff. I'm not sure if they're using some kind of technology to make these people flip, or they've already pre-programmed them, whatever the case may be. But you have the ability to protect yourself from that stuff. I mean, it's all about what your intentions are.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that, brother.
Brilliant.
And Demetrius is 100 because a lot of these people been pre-programmed but when they hear a certain sound, a certain frequency, their programming goes off, cause them to actually execute the programming that was put in them. So yeah, that's 100% correct. All right, KG, you next. KG.
Hi. Hello. Hi. I'm just listening. Just listening. Yeah, no, something that Rogue Titan said reminded me of a dream I had. I had a dream. There were these 4 sorcerers, and they would make different planes, and they would go on these different planes, and they would have to do that because they would have agents like follow them all the time. So when you said that, I was like, oh, it's just like that dream. So yeah, that really resonated with me, brought back some memories.
Yeah, you know, like some people call it the Men in Black, MIB. Like I'm not talking about no Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones shit. I'm talking about the Men in Black, like government agents who go about like wherever there's a paranormal type of event going on, almost like think like X-Files, but it's like a real agency within like the black government, whatever. It's like a clandestine form of the government where they go about doing that exact thing. They investigate certain paranormal or supernatural thing that goes on with people, and people see them. But people see them on the astral plane too. So that's how I know they know about how powerful we are when it comes to, because we are paranormal entities. Like this, we are naturally, we give off that energy naturally within our environment and shit like that because we're a spiritual entity. So, but because of that, when you tapping into it and you weaponizing that shit, they not gonna be too far behind when it comes to monitoring the situation, if you will.
Yeah, because they were the ones that told me to go back when I had my DMT trip, and I was literally on my way there, and they was standing up there blocking. They said, "Oh, most definitely on that after plane," because they told me to go back. They told me to go back to the love of what I have, because they were speaking to my family and said that I'll be going off to an area where I do not need to be right now. So I decided to go back. And then that's when this reality started shifting. Like I remember it like it's yesterday. It said they almost definitely on there. That I can definitely attest. And they do not play.
We gonna have to talk about that shit. I got some shit for your ass, Necro.
That I had, man. Like I done had some trips and seen some stuff on the other side, and it's like that ain't no joke. Like how you said earlier, like no, man, you got some fighting to do on there because they notice you're like, oh, we're gonna eat you. Are you not today?
Right. Yeah, you gotta know some shit. Like straight the fuck up. Like you gotta have a mindset. Like you gotta know this shit is not sweet up out here. You gotta be a fucking warrior out here. This ain't no, see, that's why, like before you get to any other question, I'm gonna say this. Like this shit ain't for Hotep niggas, man. This shit ain't, when it come to like when you outside, this shit ain't, this shit we seeing here, this, man, I'm telling you, you gonna get yourself fucked up thinking you gonna go up there and you gonna see your niggas and you just gonna do the same old human shit you been doing. You will get fucked up and every which way but loose. You see what I'm saying? When you got that mindset outside the flesh, when you're dealing in the spirit. Because this shit about this, man, listen, let's go to the next question. Just don't be thinking shit sweet when you going about this motherfucker. Your mindset got to be on some weaponizing, internalizing everything that you have an opportunity to weaponize and internalize while you in this motherfucker. That's why we need to do this shit. That's why you got to weaponize this shit, because you will need it. Absolutely. Just like your body need water, you need to be motherfucking activating your psionic ability straight the fuck up and down.
Real.
True. Anything else, KG?
Huh? No, I'm still trying to soak it all in. I still have to find a place to begin. So there are a lot of wonderful tips. So I still have to start. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
No problem, KJ.
JR, the Star Seed. What's up, bro?
Where that nigga at? What up, fam?
Is he talking? Because I can't hear him.
No, I don't see him either, but he's nigga in the dark as shit.
I can see the shiny, his bald head shining, but I can't see you, bro. I can't hear you, period. So
yeah, this nigga in the void and shit.
I'm gonna come back to you, bro, because I can't hear nothing.
Right. This nigga fucking cloaked up.
All right, Duma.
Yo.
What up, bro?
What?
Going on, dude?
A lot. Hey, what's going on, fam? There's a whole lot of information being dropped tonight. I'm just still absorbing everything, so I don't really have any questions right now.
All right. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Smooth T. Where the hell is Smooth T bounce to? Which? Okay, here he is. All right,
Yeah,
come on.
man.
Smooth T, what's up?
What up, fam?
What's happening? What's happening? Shit, man. I came kind of late, but it always intrigues me when Bro Titan say, you know, you better know some shit going up on this astral plane. And I mean, I like for you to touch on that a little bit more. Like what's some tips? Like
Okay.
outside of, you know what I mean?
I got you. Man, basically, down here, I call this shit a dream. This is like my fucking dream. You know what I'm saying? This is an illusion, but it's an experiment. You the scientist, you gotta be a fucking surgeon. So why not have the mindset within your experiment to weaponize everything that's in your environment? Because you having the creativity and you being able to express beyond limitations and boundaries and what you're able to create with your mind, these are the things that will have to be utilized when you on the astral and beyond. Because you're gonna have to act on certain things when you come in and when you're interfacing with monsters, when you're interfacing with demons, aliens, fucking bears, whoever the fuck it is. You can't think on this level. You can't like, oh, I read this shit in this book and said, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. No, fuck that. By that time, you already lunch, nigga. You gotta react and respond based on what you subconsciously reprogram yourself with. And that's to be weaponized and utilized. So when you weaponize some shit and you got a subconscious reprogram, when you set to just ritualize your human existence, when you're on the astral and you come face to face with some shit, you automatically just respond based on your subconscious reprogramming, based on based on your creativity, based on you having like a childlike mindset, like a fucking Bugs Bunny or some shit. You see what I'm saying? Thinking on some other type of shit beyond the confines and limitations of what a thought form of a human being is. You see what I'm saying? You got to think past that shit. You got to embody that shit. You see what I'm saying? You got to embody chaos. Chaos don't think. It moves and transforms and mutates instantaneously all the fucking time. That's how your motherfucking, that's what you are. And you're going to have to do that shit when you outside this motherfucker. When you might, who knows where that's why I say, aim and direct where the fuck you want to go and what you want to experience when you go into sleep. Ritualize and weaponize your dream state when you go to sleep. If you got a direction where you're going to experience certain things based on what you set up for yourself. But if you just going to sleep and it's like you wandering, you a damsel in distress, like a bitch in a red dress going down the alley on the east side of Detroit, some goddamn where with a red dress on when there ain't nothing but goons down that motherfucker. You think they give a fuck about what you walking down there for? You might get raped, you gonna get fucked up. That's what happens when you just go about the astral. Just like I'm just gonna see what happens. I'm about to take some psilocybin and I'm about to take some mushrooms or DMT and just to see what happens. That's how you get fucked up. Just fucking, you gotta understand that it's this universe, this shit out here is good, bad, and ugly, and absolutely macabre shit up out this motherfucker. That when you interface with that shit, you ain't got this right mind frame, and you come back into this shit, you're not gonna be the same. And them niggas is waiting on your ass because they touched your ass. They got an energy core still hooked on you, and you gonna go to sleep, nigga, and you gonna die too. And them niggas still waiting on you, and the motherfucker, that's when the fucking horrible shit still happen. That's when it goes on. Like, you gotta understand something. Outside of this motherfucker, man, you gonna have to know some shit. That's where sorcery, that's where like Ravana was talking about. Ritualizing your existence right here, right now. Going about learning everything that you need to learn and weaponizing that shit. I don't give a fuck if you watch Mickey Mouse. Weaponize what the fuck that sorcerer ass nigga Mickey Mouse is doing within the show and use that shit when you want to ask you. It works. You see what I'm saying? Having that mindset, knowing that you're gonna have to act on this shit, nigga. So this is like training. Right now, all we talking about is like when the X-Men go through that motherfucking them simulations and shit, when they fighting them sentinels and shit, that can be like what we're doing right now. Because guess what? When them go out in the field, them niggas gonna be having to act on the shit they've been training themselves on. That's a form of them subconsciously reprogramming themselves to be able to interface when they actually fighting Apocalypse and Magneto and them goddamn sentinels. Them niggas Wolverine know what to do. Jump on top of their head, cut the motherfucker off. Why? Because he been doing that shit 1,000 times in this simulation. He subconsciously reprogrammed himself to do it. That's the type of mindset you gotta have on this shit, a warrior's mindset. You're gonna have to fight, nigga.
So let me ask you, so do you ever get to the point where you've done all this work and it's just automated where you just going to sleep and you not necessarily conscious, but based upon you doing all this work while you conscious, you know what I'm saying? You wake up, you like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I just had a whole little motherfucking adventure, but I was unconscious of it because I wasn't lucid. But I remember, you know what I'm saying? What happened, you know what I mean?
Right. Now, like me personally, I'm always lucid when I go to sleep. Why? Because that's like you driving and you just motherfucking not, you just on autopilot. Nigga, I know where the fuck I'm going when I'm in the whip. So nigga, when I'm dreaming, I'm lucid all the fucking time, because if I'm not, I'm susceptible for shit. So like when I go to sleep, I'm doing rituals and shit. I'm fucking with Apollo, I'm fucking with the Necronomicon, Goetia. I have to be. Because if I'm going to sleep and I ain't fucking conscious of this shit, nigga, my fucking door unlocked. Nigga, I'm just letting the motherfucking, anything could come in. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not there to motherfucking be actively present within the situation. So for me, I ritualize and weaponize my sleep. Like I have to, when I go to sleep, I don't go to sleep like regular niggas. You see what I'm saying? I'm doing shit. Like I know I'm doing shit like every fucking night. Every nigga since Ravana Noon made that fucking video about 2 years ago. That shit struck a fucking chord in my. I'm like, that's it. That's what the fuck I need to hear, and I ain't need to hear shit else. I'm like, when I go to sleep, nigga, I'm ritualizing this shit. So, nigga, I have full fucking dream record, nigga, because I'm always lucid. I don't know what it feel like to not be lucid, personally.
Also, let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Rogue Titan alluded to this too. The work starts here, and what I mean by that is, let's say you have a fear of Freddy Krueger, right? Guess when you start to astral project and travel, guess what's waiting for you? That form that's in your mind that's still there of the fear of Freddy Krueger instead of becoming Freddy Krueger. So what happens is, if you didn't do the work here, when you get to the astral, you're easily going to be heightened. Everything is heightened on the astral realm. So what your emotions are here, your fear is here. Just imagine that 20 times heightened. So your fear is exasperated, like beyond belief. Because if you haven't dealt with that shit here, it only manifests there for you because there's energy that's waiting to devour you. There's energy that's waiting to just absorb you. That's why we practice vampirism. So you're prepared for that, so you know how to flip the script and devour.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you will be devoured in the process by your very fears, by your very nightmares and things like that. So never, ever travel the astral realm. I think we hit this last week in our Thursday class. Never travel the astral realm without direction or without a purpose or without having dealt with your fears or the shit that's buried inside you, because that shit will manifest and can keep you trapped there. This is why some people are here physically but space the fuck out when they're walking around talking to themselves or talking to shit that we can't see. It's there, but their physical is here. Their mind is still stuck in the astral because they weren't ready for what they did. That's why I warn people, when you do these psychedelics, when you do these certain brain enhancers, you gotta have mind control over yourself first and foremost. Yes. That shit will fuck your ass up. And you can get stuck. I know many people who did psychedelics. They still ain't here. Physically, I see them here, but they're still not back totally because their mind is still trapped in the astral realm. So if you haven't dealt with the shit here, you can't get there without, okay, you could get there, but what I'm saying is when you get there, don't think like shit is just going to be hunky-dory. It's not, because the work starts here first. I know it's a tedious process. I know it takes a long time, and people get upset. Oh, my God, the shadow takes so long. I just want to get there. But if you ain't dealt with that shit, you're going to rush it and then get there. And when you get there, there's a whole mess of shit that you haven't dealt with that will manifest itself. If you want an idea, watch the Insidious movies. Watch all the Insidious movies. Part 1, 2, and 3, and watch it closely because it tells you and shows you how you could get trapped here. And it shows you in certain ways how that will manifest into the physical. The little boy was here, but where was his mind at? Where was he where he was stuck in the astral, where the lady actually had to go get him? You understand? That's showing you what can happen in those situations. So I just wanted to add that part on.
I also want to add real quick to where look at the astral as being the literal conscious thought. Manifestation of people's emotions, desires, fears, ambitions, and everything. It's literally a projection of that. So even for the people that have passed due to traumatic events, that have created that conscious monsters, or like even, when children They are like, when you was a child, you actively seen that monster in full manifestation in front of you, you know, and in the other realm, and you was like hide. Your parents would come in and it would disappear, but then the moment you switch your vibrational frequency to something else, you didn't see it anymore. You would still feel it, like, well, what's that? But you know, you changed your mind up. The astral realm is literally that made manifest. So when you're going on there, you have to have a direction and a purpose where you're going. Otherwise, you will literally run across something that you're not ready for. That's the reason why they put it in all the occult stories. That's the reason why they put it out in certain metaphysical movies, and they're showing people this, you know, so that way the people that are able to catch on, you know, they'll be like, okay, this is what happens this way, versus how a lot of people look at it just to get caught up with the emotional energy aspect, which is another thing they do to harvest your energy at the movie theaters. Because if you notice, has set up and everything else, they take the people that get really emotional, all riled up. Well, I really like the movie. Notice how all the energy that you have in there, and they're cultivating all of that energy to a certain point. Then, you know, so, but not to go off on a tangent, but look at the astral realm as being like that directly. It is literally your emotions and your thoughts manifested out there. So if you didn't deal with it here, when you go on to the astral realm, it's going to manifest in your face, and then you will have to deal with it then. Because then if you run from it, you're still going to have to deal with it here, and it's going to continuously growing bigger on both ends until you actually deal with it. So have a direction and a focus where you're going, whether it's to do some work for yourself, like, and don't haphazardly just be out there, because you could literally run into something that you're not ready for. And then, yes, you will be a bumbling, babbling individual that's sitting there talking gibberish to himself, because this entity has literally captured your consciousness and is feeding off of you that way. And then it could even wind up getting within inside of your physical vehicle. And those are the people that, you know, quote unquote, possessed and everything else, is because it finally got inside of the body as a whole. So, like, that shit's no joke. Like, I cannot stress that.
Let me say this too, real quick. You have an etheric cord. When you astral project, your etheric cord is still connected to your physical. That etheric cord is always what they're trying to connect through you so they can come into your body here. If that etheric cord is ever cut, you're fucked, because you will stay stuck in between realms. And these are people who are stuck between realms, and they literally are gone in both realms. There's no, because they just literally got the cord cut, and they're easy to feed off of on both realms. So they go from 200 healthy pounds to 70 pounds in a month, and you're like, what the fuck happened? And then the doctors say, well, we don't know. They don't have diseases. They don't have this. They don't have that. We don't know what's happening. That's part of what's happening. They're being fed off of. They're being absorbed. They're being devoured, and they're literally stuck in both realms. Their mind is being devoured, and their physical is being devoured. So, all right, let's go on to, thank you, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Let's go on to Desmond. Desmond, any questions?
No, not any questions. I don't know if y'all can really hear me. I got this loud ass fan in the background.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, but yeah, I've been watching a lot of Rogue Titan videos, man. Just going back and check a lot of his old videos.
Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no thing. But it was a particular video that you did this past week where you was talking about Bugs Bunny. How you wanted to talk to him, and it was kind of funny that kind of led me to the whole Space Jam deal, because I had always gravitated toward the Tasmanian Devil. And in that movie, he wasn't really good for much, but he was good for mopping up the floor.
Right.
But if you look back into the cartoons, he never really said much. He was the type that, oh man, what you got to say, man? Get out my face. All right. He would say one thing, and then he'll snap, act a fool, and then just spin out of control. So I thought to myself, I'm like, how can I sort of snap, spin, and just use all that chaos to my advantage? And that's done what I'm gonna say, lemony fresh. Because I use all that chaos. I use all that chaos to spin myself into a vortex and build off of that. So I guess that's kind of like that vampire type, but really leaning toward total destruction. Like if I could just close my eyes and just obliterate this shit, break it into pieces, and just start running the whole universe with this shit, man, and just start devouring shit. But keeping the good, and use it for the good has to be used for. But all that relevant shit and shit that ain't about nothing,
cut it loose.
Get it out the way. Bingo, get it out the way. And that's what it's bingo. And that's what I was thinking about. I got to think about Seth and just that whole
mindset.
That mindset, bingo, and that willpower and using the solar plexus. I did that this for Ravana. But did that solar plexus ritual. I just meditated. And as soon as I did that, man, it was something I had been working on. And as soon as I did that, man, it worked like magic, man. I swear to God. So a lot of these things, man, it's been making sense. A lot of my reading, open up a book and you know, just reading and applying these things, you know, not being so timid and like, man, all right, I'm gonna sit back and not have to think about it, or I'm thinking about it instead of doing it. No, don't think about it. Just do it, because when it's on you, on your mind, and it's embedded within your brain, and your intentions are pure, then that's when it works the best. That's when it works the best.
Absolutely correct, man. Appreciate your fucking support, bro. Keep pushing the envelope on your shit, man. But like embodying that Tasmanian devil, and no, you don't want to devour everything, but just know that you want to motherfucking aim and direct that chaos energy to your benefit. And that benefit can be whatever it is that you want it to be. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But keep doing that shit, man.
Sure.
Appreciate your fucking support, bro.
Sure,
remember this, Desmond. Tasmanian devil is set. Just think about it for a minute. It'll hit you.
Yep.
All right, thank you, bro. Is that Zeta, my man? Where you? All right, there you go. Zeta, where you been at, man? Where you been at, brother?
Yeah, I've been just working on myself, dealing with myself, just I don't know, just hitting revelations. Just like in terms of my journey and shit, and
good.
the direction I should go. But I just want to give a shout out to Rogue Titan and Necrocannon, because everything that they've been talking about, like, I am so mad that I missed part 1 last week.
It's all good.
I'm so glad that I caught it this week, because like it's exactly what I needed to hear tonight, and it's exactly what I've been like going through and dealing with, or like the path that I've been on, like dealing with like my own like mental energy, and manifesting what I wanted into my reality. And like just hearing it from you guys, it's just like I'm hearing it from myself, but
you are exactly.
Yeah, like I'm hearing it from myself, basically. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, from you guys. And like, yeah, like I really resonate with y'all guys. I really resonate with y'all. Like, so I'm so glad I really caught this. So yeah, Roll Titan too. Like I've been watching your videos too, and like I need to catch up on it. It's just like I haven't been really watching anybody's videos. It's like I really need to just connect with my own shit. Basically.
There you go.
I haven't, like I just but just hearing y'all, it's like just like a breath of fresh air to me. So
that's why we doing this shit, man. I mean,
oh yes. I also want to give a shout out to another person in this chat, Nina Franco. That painting you're working on, girl, like you're inspiring me to get back into my shit.
Yeah.
I'm a painter too. Like, girl, like keep at it. Yes.
And by the way, she just did an art show in Philly.
That's what I need to be doing. It's like it's so.
Yeah.
It's like it's like
art show
it's an inspiration. Like all of you guys are like an inspiration to me.
It's an all women's art show, and she represented. So if you want to find her on Instagram, it's the Nina Effect, right? Yeah. At the Nina Effect. Find her on there. Follow
Okay.
The Nina Effect.
on there. Yeah, at the Nina Effect. Follow her on there.
Okay.
She got all her artwork on there, and you'll see links to shows and things she's done and stuff. All right.
Yeah, that's what's
Cool,
up.
cool.
All right.
Yes. All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, brother.
Thank you guys, and
Hey, man.
let me get back to myself.
All right, it's good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
See you too.
Thanks. Thanks.
All right, Lady Mystic, you are next. Let me unmute you. Okay, there you go. What up, Lady Mystic?
Greetings, greetings.
How you doing?
I have been definitely working, and I have to. I think right now have been some of the most challenging times in my life. So I'm definitely working hard. I know that I've been pulling a lot of energy from the trees, and then providing it to loved ones. And then also, I've been enjoying going to concerts lately and pulling on that energy, because there's like over I think 20,000 people in the concerts, and I'm telling you, that is some good energy. So that's awesome. I think the question that I want to ask is, due to this being some really challenging times, I feel like, sometimes I'll have good hours, bad hours, up days, bad days, and I want to empower myself more and have intentions where, it's not so difficult at times. So if I were to answer my own question, I would say that, make sure I meditate more, make sure I, do my work more, make sure I really put the intention out there so that the results that I want, I can have those. So would that be some of the answer? And also, what are your thoughts?
I would say one of the things to say, instead of saying I want to empower myself, say I am empowering myself. Little mental affirmations that you can repeat, whether you say them aloud or you repeat them in your own mind, or you write them down and you want to say them out loud all the time, just to subconsciously reprogram yourself. And thus what you're doing is just you're telling your body, you're telling your mind that you're empowering yourself, and you're gonna feel empowered. It's that simple. It's once you reprogram yourself with no interference and no ego, motherfucker, you ain't gonna empower yourself with no simple shit like this. Once you remove that shit and just let yourself be empowered, be the embodiment of empowerment, or be the embodiment of whatever it is positive that you want to attribute to yourself, say that shit. Say it, feel it, believe it. And repeat that shit. Just like we get up, brush our teeth in the morning, do our thing, take a shower, apply that same routine to thinking along the lines of those thoughts that's going to bring you self-empowerment. That's going to bring about everything that you want to do to improve yourself. You're going to be that shit in the moment. And you keep doing it over and over again, and then it's automatic. Then you don't even think about the shit, because you are empowerment. You are walking self-empowerment everywhere you go. And then you're going to be damn. You're going to see your life just change around. Your whole reality going to work pertaining to your level of perception and your state of consciousness once you set the subconscious reprogramming by affirming that shit, embodying it in the now moment. Word up.
And as well, I want to add, continue telling yourself that it's easy for you, or it's getting easier every time that you do it. Tell yourself this is getting easier and easier, so that way, once you're actually doing it subconsciously, you've already triggered that. Oh, this is easy, ain't nothing to me. And therefore, that's what you'll start implementing. So take your time, however best is what you feel is best for you. And then as you're applying that, just keep telling yourself that this is easy, this is easier and easier, or I'm very successful at this, this is no sweat. The more that you reinforce that with inside of your mind and make that your paramount programming, that will be the first bit of information that will come to your mind, and then you'll start acting in accordance for it. And then, yes, like you said, meditate more, give yourself that moment, so that way when you do feel chaotic, you'll be able to place that in order, so that way you'll be able to apply the right amount of energy of what you're needing for it. Even when you go to the concerts and you take in all of that energy, start applying that towards what your next project is. Start following that energy there. That way you have a direction, you have a purpose, and then tell yourself that it's going to be easy to have said manifestation come for you in the end, and then just see yourself with that manifestation. That way you set yourself up that way.
Dope.
Mm-hmm.
I think she muted herself. She said, "Thank you, very nice."
Oh, no, man. We love it. Appreciate it.
Misty Moon. We ain't seen Misty in a while. How you doing, Misty? Oops, where'd it go?
Where's she at?
Misty, there you go. Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Can you see me?
Yep. Well, I can't see you yet, but I can hear you.
Okay. Well, anyway, let me see. I wanted to come on live because it has been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give a good shout out to everyone in the Black Serpent clan.
Yes, yes.
You are doing me proud.
Indeed.
I think this channel has 1,000 members now. 1,600. All right. You know, I just want to say thank you. I'm proud of all you men in the Black Serpent clan. Yes. We definitely do have to walk the gauntlet. That's for sure. There's no doubt about it. And the universe that we dwell in and abide in, it is safe if we have the warrior mind, the predator mind. If we have that, if we can accomplish that, then we can survive. Mm-hmm. We will walk through the gauntlet, otherwise known as the astral realm.
Indeed.
But when we get through the astral realm, there's other realms, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But that little bottleneck right there is rough.
Yep.
So I give 2 thumbs up, and I'm just loving this psionics. I watch every single upload. I just can't be live. And I want to say that it fibered my soul.
I like it.
My heart was beating strong. I was breathing deep.
Good.
I said it wouldn't be righteous if I did not come live and say thank you.
Oh, man.
It's a good work. It's a great work. And don't be fooled. Don't be thinking ain't nobody listening and don't nobody know, because of course they know.
Mm-hmm.
They see our light during the night. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. That's okay. That's what we got guardians for.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Rogue Titan is channeling Ne'alahotep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I heard it. Oh, yes. It was seamless when you did the little shift, but I heard him come through. You did channel him. And Necrocannon gives us many tips. There you go. There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, this shit ain't sweet over here. Real shit. Ain't you noticing that?
Yeah. Necrocannon gives us many great tips, and so doesn't Demetrius. Mm-hmm. And so I'm honored. I'm honored to be here. Of course, I represent the red serpent, the red dragon, being feminine, carrying the feminine energy this go round. Mm-hmm. So thank you, my man, my strong, beautiful man. I appreciate you.
Oh,
much
man.
love, much honor, much respect.
Humble, you just motivated me and inspired me with that energy. So just know that just not taken for granted. That shit going straight to my heart chakra, and you just, whatever I had there, if I had some shit I need to clear up, that energy, it just blasted me straight through that shit. I want to thank you and appreciate your love and support, everything that we do here. Ravana, Necrocannon, Demetrius, everybody that's involved with this shit. That was very, very, very touching words, and they didn't go unnoticed. I want you to know that. I appreciate it.
From my heart to yours.
Yep.
Thank you, Christy. Appreciate all them beautiful words.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Lisa. Lisa, we ain't seen you in a minute. Hold on. Lisa, unmute your phone, Lisa.
Hello.
Lisa, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you, Lisa Williams? How are you?
I'm good. How is everybody?
Good.
Good. Okay, my question is, how do you take your awakened God self into your dream state when you speak and reprogram your subconscious directly when you know you're speaking to your subconscious in your dreams?
Hold on,
Was that,
repeat
wait,
that.
was that question directed at me, Lisa?
Anybody that wants to answer it, doesn't matter. I
No,
don't know if
repeat
you
it because my
understand.
phone.
Okay.
Yeah, repeat it. Somebody's phone vibrated loud.
No,
Okay.
that was mine. My bad.
No, it's okay. My question was when you go into the dream state, because I noticed that recently I've been speaking directly to my subconscious in my dreams, but I want to reprogram it. But when I go to do it, I like wake up like I'm jarred out of my sleep. And I'm just wondering if there's something that I could do prior to sleep or during sleep to stay with it.
Yes, one of the things that I highly recommend you do is start looking up and researching brain entrainment, brain synchronization, and neuroplasticity, and looking up the science, the neuroscience pertaining to that, and all what that represents. And what you're gonna notice is that you can subconsciously reprogram your way any way, shape, or form that you desire. You see what I'm saying? So by doing that, by investigating and looking up certain frequencies that activate certain portions of the brain, that was going to give you the information necessary for you to do when you go about your dream state. And when you want to communicate with yourself, you're going to know what to do based on the repetitious subconscious reprogramming that you've done by researching these topics. Because your subconscious mind is like a technology. But if you don't really not necessarily have the necessary components to be able to program it, you're gonna have to search, you're gonna have to research that shit. And it's very, very readily available online. I mean, there's so much information when it comes to neuroscience, but brain entrainment, neuroplasticity, and brain synchronizations is one of the ways that I've used consistently to reprogram my subconscious mind. And just knowing that I can reconcile my ego, I don't have any useless mind chatter or negative thought forms pertaining to me being able to activate or be able to reprogram myself. You see what I'm saying? I don't have self-defeating thoughts because I eliminated that shit. You see what I'm saying? But just knowing that you got, just do the work and researching it. And it's an absolute fun, adventurous study to know that, you can activate certain portions of your brain that's going to correspond to certain things when it comes to subconsciously reprogramming yourself. And just know that when you go to sleep, just have an intention or, set an intention for yourself to activate these things every night when you do go to sleep. And you're just going to automatically just be able to manifest it. It's just going to happen because you set the intention for it,
You answered it. I was going to say some things in that aspect. Just repetitively tell yourself of what programming that you're going to do before you go to sleep, even throughout the day. That way you can tell yourself, when I go to sleep, I'm going to do these things. Consciously tell yourself that. So by the time that you go to sleep, you've already then programmed yourself to, when you conk out, that's what you're going to start doing in dreams, and that'll give you more control over that. And so be repetitive on what programming that you're giving yourself, and it'll help you do that very quickly. And then as well, yes, look up some of the neuroscience that Rogue Titan is given to you, which will also give you more control over your subconscious and activating it. But mainly just before you go to sleep, repeat to yourself over and over again what you're wanting to do. So when you do get to that point, that's the first thing of what you'll do, because you told yourself that. That works. That little tip works on a multitude of different things that you're wanting to do. Even if you're wanting to do shadow work on the astral realm, you can say that before you astral project. So that way, when you get to the astral realm, you better have your self location set up to what you needed to do, so you can do your work with the side of yourself, and then you can project backwards out. So that way you'll be within a safe area. So that's all I have to say in regards to that.
Okay.
Lisa, get this book real quick. Chakra Frequencies by Jonathan Goldman. Is it Jonathan Goldman? Yeah, he does a lot of brain entertainment. You need to really try to check out this book, because he shows actual systems and techniques how to actually start doing that, programming it, shifting it, all those things you're asking. Yeah, like Ryan said, that's something you really got to check out. Braintainment is really important because it's a method that really utilizes different techniques how to program your mind.
Okay. Thank you all.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the love and support. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's hit up last is Venus Love. Venus Love. Okay, hold on. Go ahead. All right, how you doing, Venus? You're back again.
I'm back again. Thank you, guys. And I want to also shout out Rogue Titan and Necrocannon. They've been giving a lot of good information I've been soaking up. But this is my question. Like, the shadow work I've been doing is it's like I'm going to different levels of it. But I noticed, like, I'll give a prime example. One thing I did was I just like detached myself from a person. And I remember y'all was saying, like, you know, it can be any people, place, or thing. You can like literally like eat them and like devour them. And I did that recently. And then the person called me again. So I noticed, like, whenever I'm centering my energy and I'm focusing on myself and I'm calling my energy back and doing the shadow work, if it's a person that's living, I notice they come back. It's as if they're trying to feedback on me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
People from the past, like I'll see people like from 10 years ago and I'm like, I thought I devoured you. Like, why are you back again? Or like the other night, an old lover showed up in my dream. I was like, what the fuck? I thought I devoured you.
You can still have a synapses linked to that individual if there's still any bit of emotional remnants that you might even have even after a thought. That link will be because you're sending out that wave to them. If they're still within a certain vibration for you, they're going to be receptive to that frequency. Thus, that's when they're either going to call you, show up somewhere, pop up in your dreams with a likeness because you're still tapping back into that energy. So if they're popping up for you, or even if you're placing them in your mind, and if they have any correlation to you, they're going to manifest for you, period.
Yes, they are.
And that direction of energy is right there.
Well, let me ask you this. Another thing, like, what if they're like jacking off to me?
You definitely will pick up on that because of the sexual energy as being amplified. Not only the psionic energy, but also the sexual energy as well too. So you would have to like wind up blocking that energy, or like how you were devouring it. Also put up a filter so that way they can't ping you, but they're basically tapped into your vibrational frequency. Especially if you guys had any emotional attachment, if you guys had any like physical, correlations like that, that energy signature there. I mean, it's always going to be there because they're always going to be a part of your consciousness. But if you're directing your energy towards them in any shape or form, and if they're receptive to it, they'll pick up on it, and thus they'll start doing their acts of what they used to and everything else. You just have to set up, like I was saying earlier, you can set up a shield around you. You can put yourself around in a fortress. You can encase them inside of a glass cage, so any energy that they project towards you will be projected upon themselves. You can net them. I mean, you can even put them within a box in the middle of the ocean to where any energy that's directed towards you, that is to where it'll go, and you can harness that energy at a later time because you projected your consciousness where you dropped it off at. So it's just up to you how you want to format that energy, not only in your own energy field to format it, but also to format that person's energy, seeing that you know what their energy's like, you know how they feel, everything else. You can format that energy that's being projected to you by you projecting yourself on their consciousness. That way you're overriding their systems, and you're doing a whole bunch of other stuff that way too. So that's something else of what you're able to do in order to block that off, or to block off thoughts, or like even if they are thinking about you and you can feel it, you can project thoughts of like Cthulhu to them, so that way they start getting ugly images or something else that'll divert their attention. If they start, or even like in that aspect, if you feel like he's doing that, project image to him about horses and stuff, his whole perception will change. Then it'll be like, what's going on with me? But you redirected the flow of energy. You override his energy with a certain thought format. He has a single point of thought as it is, which is his sexual tendency, and that energy is what he's on. So you can override that with your own energy and just start projecting horses. Really see like a live horse stallion running in the field, and then you think of that person riding on a horse. Next thing you know, that's what's going to show up in his mind.
Okay. Yeah, because I literally felt his energy the whole day. I was like, what the hell? Like, I was like, wow. So I know like the work that I'm doing is working because like I said, I'm seeing manifestations, but I'm definitely going to try some of those, some of those things that you told me to do.
And Venus, like Demetrius and myself would say, absorb that nut, visit that nigga in his dream. Seriously. You absorb the nut, you process that DNA, you visit him in his fucking dream, and you drop that shit back into his subconscious mind and poison that shit. That DNA see it being poisoned and drop it back into him.
Yep.
Okay, because this particular person was somewhat obsessed with me, never wanted to move on. So this makes sense. He's not trying to move on. And we haven't had contact for about 3 years. So this makes sense that this is going to be interesting. I'm not going to say it's a challenge because I know I can get down and dirty, but I was just curious, like your opinion on it. Okay, thank you.
All right, Venus. All right, sure. All right, so that's everybody. So, real quick. All right, like I said, Sunday, we should have the brother from the Vampyre community here in Tampa. Second, Necrocannon, what just came to me because I don't have nothing occupied for the 18th. Would you like to do a class on Qigong and how to utilize it in the left-hand path?
Yes.
All right. We'll do that because that's some powerful shit. And I think a lot of people don't really know too much about it because, you know, it's kind of suppressed. The information's kind of suppressed sometimes about Qigong. But, yeah. So on the 18th, mark it in your calendar. I want you to come out here and discuss
Qigong, up it on the left-hand path.
Yep, and how to utilize it on your path, especially walking left hand or chaotic path, all right?
All right.
You know, a lot of people are not aware that asceticism does not work on the left-hand path. And what I mean by asceticism is people who think that they have to separate their two existences. And Qigong is one of those methods that utilizes both existences to make your, or profound energy to bring you up to a higher level of mastery. Because a lot of people think they got to go up to the Himalayan mountains and just separate from their physical. You don't. You need to master both shits. You're here and there. But if you can program yourself from there, your shit is stronger here. That's what people are missing. You got to realize there is no separation between these two. They're both intertwined. And until you cut that etheric cord, you're still connected here because your etheric self or your astral self is what's programming the physical, not the other way around. It's you who are programming it from a higher energy level here. So I think that will go in real good if Necrocannon goes in on Qigong and utilize how to work this energy to master self. All right. All right, so y'all, so that'll be it. So next Sunday we'll have the Vampiric brother here, and then 18th we'll have Necrocannon, and then on the 25th it's gonna be a reunion of myself and Brother Beniti. We're gonna do a class on here as well. All right, so we'll be back again together on the 25th of August. So that's the next few classes, y'all. So we'll see y'all then. Dark greetings, dark blessings.
My nigga, good luck.
All right.
All right. See everybody then.
Yep.